Here are 5 things you should know when starting lifting. Alright, so the first thing is, without a doubt, diet. Gains are made in the kitchen is a phrase you may have heard, and that is pretty much true. Your diet is just as important, if not more important, than your training itself. The typical sort of standard is 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So you want to be getting your protein from, ideally, if you're trying to gain weight, like a clean bulk. So good clean protein sources are things like rice, Greek yogurt, chicken, like a chicken breast, beef, any meat really. They're usually like the lower fat ones. Oats and nuts are good ones as well. I'll put them all up on screen now. So these are the sort of things you want to be eating if you're trying to do a clean bulk, and if you're cutting, you should be ideally eating those things as well. Keep the fat lower. And of course, the main thing, depending on your goals, is you want to be doing a thing which is called a calorie surplus. So a calorie surplus is whenever you are eating more than you are burning throughout the day. So if you can go online and go to a calorie calculator, and it will tell you your maintenance calories, and you work out your maintenance calories and add about 500 calories onto your maintenance. So let's say your maintenance calories was said to be 2,800 calories, then you would go and add 500 calories to 2,800, which would be 3,300, and that's what you should be eating to gradually gain weight at a steady pace. Same thing goes for losing weight. You want to be in a calorie deficit, so 500 calories under your maintenance, and then you should gradually be losing weight. So that's why it's important to make sure you're getting the adequate amount of protein and also the adequate amount of calories. Alright, tip number 2 is progressive overload. Progressive overload is whenever each week or each session you make the exercise or set you're doing harder. Now that can be done via, let's say, sets. So you could do week 1 is 3 sets of 5, week 2 is 4 sets of 5, and week 3 is 4 sets of 5. You can do it with reps. So week 1 is 3 sets of 8, week 2 is 3 sets of 9, week 3 is 3 sets of 10. So you can progressive overload like that, or a more common way would be using weight. So you could do one session could be 55 kilos, and then the next session you add 1.25 kilos each side to then be 57.5 kilos, and then you'd have week 3, or like the third session, be another 2.5 kilos, which then be 60 kilos. So basically each week you are adding 2.5 kilos, or each session you're adding 2.5 kilos each time. And this allows then for your muscles to then grow, as they have to get used to slowly pushing heavier weight. So yeah, progressive overload. To make progress, you have to use progressive overload. It has to be in your workout, and it's one of the more important things to do, and you do it with all your exercises. Alright, tip number 3 is more isn't always more. What I mean by that is exercising more and doing training your muscles more isn't always gonna make for better results. You could have, let's say, a upper body split. So let's say doing upper body, and then have a rest, and then doing lower body again. That wouldn't work. The reason why is because you are training 2 days in a row the same muscle group, and it won't have time to recover. Usually it takes a day or 2 for your muscle to recover, so you should always have at least a day in between training the same muscle group again. Things like the bro split also wouldn't work. Bro split is whenever you train different muscle group one time each week. So like you do arms Monday, chest Tuesday, back Wednesday, shoulder Thursday, legs Friday, and like abs Saturday. That wouldn't work, and the reason for it not working is because you're only training them once a week, whereas it's better to be able to train them about 2 or 3 times a week. So it would work as like an upper lower, and then rest, and then upper lower again. That would work because you're not leaving enough time for each muscle to recover. But for a beginner, what I would recommend is what I did when starting out, and a lot of other people did, was do a 5x5 full body. So it's full body 3 times a week. So you're training every muscle group, including your upper body and your legs, 3 times each week. And for me, for a beginner, that's more than enough to start out with, instead of just going in straight doing 6 days a week. If further on you can do that, but you've got to increase the volume to make progression each time. You don't want to start out doing 6 days a week, because then increasing volume on that is going to be a challenge. So I'll put on screen Jason Blaha's 5x5, which is what I did, and it is perfect. It is the best beginner training program, at least in my opinion. So yeah. The next thing I wanted to mention, because I think this would put a lot of beginners off as soon as you start out, and which is DOMS, so it's delayed onset muscle soreness, and that is whenever your body is for the first time doing something new, your muscles feel really sore and achy when you wake up. So like the first time you work out, the muscles that you worked will be aching the day after, like so sore, and even the next couple sessions might be the same. And people think that, oh, my muscles really sore, so I'm not going to train them this day because they're really sore, but in fact you actually need to train them. You need to train them again so that they can get used to that, and after about 3 sessions then you'll find that you wake up the next day and you're not sore after the next session, and that's just your body's kind of got used to doing the movements and getting used to using the muscles for moving resistance. And you'll find as well that if you change your program and tried new exercises, your muscles would do the same thing even if you've been training for about a year or so. Just bear in mind to tell the difference between pain and then DOMS, because actual pain is completely different and could be a sign that you're doing a lift wrong, whereas DOMS is just an achy sort of feeling your muscles get, which is perfectly normal, and that'll go away once you do your first session or two, so do not let that put you off. It's also where the thing about people saying they can't get up the stairs on leg day, that all comes around from DOMS, is, you know, your legs being so sore that they're just kind of shaky and things the day after. But after you train them a few times, that will all go away. My 5th and final thing that I think you should know before starting training is sleep. Like, sleep, I'm sure we all love it, I'm sure you all love a lie-in, but sleep is really important. So you need to make sure that your sleep is consistent. I feel like it's overlooked that your sleep affects your training the next day. So preferably 8 to 9 hours would be ideal. 7 is acceptable, it's okay, but nothing less than 7. And you'll find that as well, sometimes oversleeping, so if you get more than 9, you might find you're a bit sleepy and it makes you feel quite tired if you sleep too much, and that can affect your next session. So you might find that you were doing a certain weight session before, but if you get too little sleep or something you need too much sleep, then you'll be absolutely shattered for your next session. You'll find that you won't progress, you won't find you're progressing for that session, or you're not as strong as you were before. It's another thing as well, quickly, is just if you go into one session you're not able to lift the weights you were before, don't worry. Sometimes, you know, our CNS, or central nervous system, is fried, and when you take a deload, that's when you just drop the weights for a week, do the same workout but drop the weights lower, give your body time to recover a bit, and then get back to it, and you find that sometimes after that wee break, you're back stronger than ever. So yeah, that's my 5 tips for starting out lifting. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.